Okay, we're back on the sunroof. Uh, the sunroof is out of a 1999 Ford Explorer Sport. This is the one I went and picked up. This is not the one currently out of the Explorer. The factory joints, as you can see here, this is metal, and this is a plastic piece for the drain that is usually siliconed, where all this black is, and across, and then same thing on the bottom. The factory joints look something more like that right there. It's just, bead of caulk on the corners. The back is caulked across here, down to the center of the track, over, across, and then up right here. But that's where they fail and they go to leaking. So I didn't want to use RTV and redo it from like they did in the factory, so I'm pulling all that out and we're doing this. This is Flex Seal. I just took, utility knife and a pick and picked out all the old silicone, and then I use a syringe, brush, tape, whatever, and we refill it. Now, if you're going to do the silicone, you can have this done in a couple hours and throw it back in the car. But silicone may last 2 years, 3 years, 4 years before it starts leaking. Who knows? I didn't want to do that, so I decided to go with Flex Seal. You can get it smooth where there's no bump. Water can flow over it, unlike this. If you can tell, there's a bump. Water can't flow over that, so water will just sit here, pull here, and just wear it out. When I got this one home, I plugged up the drain holes, tested it. It leaked in all 4 corners. Not bad, but enough. So now on getting these out, you usually have a sunshade right here on the inside of this track. There's a bar that goes across. And then you have the wind visor. It goes across here with its 2 little arms. That sit right here. Motor bolts in from the bottom. And then the glass. How you want to get these apart to do this, if you want to do it, is while this is still in the car and hooked up, you want to open the sunroof so far back and stop it about right here, so you can get access to a little trim ring that goes around the perimeter of the glass on the inside. This right here, there'll be these bolts here going down. You want to take those out. Once you get those screws out, you want to slide the sunroof back forward to close, and then push the button again for forward one more time, so it tilts the back of the glass up, and it allows you to get access to 3 bolts on the glass on either side. There'll be 3 on that side, 3 on this side. You take those 3 bolts out on both sides. Then you can take the glass out. From there, you can go ahead and unhook the motor, unhook the power switch, but leave it where it was, because this is all kind of sort of like timing. It's all clocked in a certain position, so you don't want your track to be in a different position than your motor was turned off in. So you go ahead and pull your glass out. You remove all the bolts all the way around this thing, and you can drop it out. Without the glass in it, it'll be a little bit lighter. You can go ahead and take the motor out, And then once you get it out and you're sitting on a bench, whatever, you have the wind visor. It sits something normally about like that right there. There's 2 screws under it. You don't have to worry about those. There's a screw here on both sides. Remove it from both sides. And the arms that go here, you need to pull out the little keeper and knock out the arms, which is what I did just to be safe, because if they're they're old, they're brittle, you don't want to break them. So you just remove the keeper, push out the pin, the spring, and then you can slide the arm out. Do that on both sides. Take these screws out, and this thing's kind of wedged in here. You kind of want to pull the back of it up a little bit, get a screwdriver in there, and it'll pop out. But you also have to take the motor off, because that's where the motor's located. Piece, which sits back here, it's a brace for the sunshade. It's just a screw on either side. Comes right out. The sunshade's a little tricky. It's a tight fit, and it sits in its own separate little track, which these are what it sits on. But yeah, it sits on its own little track on the inside right here, like that. These are how the keepers will face. There'll be one on the front, one on the back on both sides. You just kind of want to take a screwdriver and very lightly kind of pop the sunshade out of them. Do the front one, and then the back one, and then you can leave the other 2, but they're a little tricky to get in and out. You kind of got to maneuver them a little bit. But if you're not reupholstering your sunshade, you ain't got to worry about it. I've got to reupholster the sunshade, unfortunately. But yeah, this one's pretty much done, this corner. It's all nice and filled in, and this stuff holds up really well. I think I'm done with the back on this side. I mean, it really looks like it. It's got a nice bead on it and everything. I'll have to check the side right here a little bit. But we're about to flip it and work on the other side. Okay. I got the shade reupholstered. Looks pretty good. We're going to see about putting it back in the track. These are the little rails that clip onto the side that hold it in its track. If you feel on the edge, you'll feel it. Where there you go. The big side right there goes towards the bottom. That side goes towards the top. Might be a bit tricky to get them in. There. Yeah, they pop in just like that. Move this stuff out of the way. they slide down in a little track, not the main track. It's got its own separate little track. Here. I kind of put them in a bit of an angle. Like it right there. And beautiful sliding track sunroof. I don't know if y'all can see it. These little tabs here. Like I said, I just kind of pick up that side, slide them into their track, put the bottom lip over, and kind of push down, and it fell into place. And then give it a sharp yank over to lock it in. Now then, for these, what you want to do is, I took them out differently. You have a spring and a grommet and a pin and then the spring tab. You want to turn this upside down. This is your wind deflector. You want to slide this into the groove. Then you want to take your pin, come up from the bottom side of the deflector, and push it through, and then when it lays flat, it puts spring tension back on it. Then there's a little C-clip. I'm going to attempt to do this without losing the C-clip here. Just like that. Same thing with the other side. I gotta see if I can find the other C-clip. I'd never done one of these Pacific sunroofs. This one was a bit of a learning curve. Looks like with everything, I'm not scared to get into it. But yeah, the ends of these arms on the sunroof that's in the Explorer are broke. The wind visor itself, the hinges are broke off. This whole piece is pretty much just out of it. And then, like I said, all four corners leaked real bad. I've got all four corners flex sealed in this one. New visor, upholstered. So. I got that arm in where it's supposed to go. This is the bit of the tricky part. That one is in where it's supposed to go. And there's the visor back in. Well, not visor, but a wind deflector. Yeah, give me a second. I'm trying to remember every little thing here. Screws, bolts. These went to there, and then these go here. Should have screws. be necessary to smoke these to Alabama. Okay, sorry, camera died. Once you get that back in track, this is the old one. You have this piece. Instead of screw on either side, make sure the back of your visor is behind it, because that moves with the track and it moves the visor back as it slides back. Yeah, that's what the shade on the original one looked like. It's just a mess. You got these screws going all the way around. You remove all of them but the one going through the pillar, and then you just have somebody on the other side undo the screw, lift it out, slide it out the door, slide the new one in, or when you get ready to put it back in, whichever. I gotta put the motor back in. I'll do that in a second. Okay, I got the glass sitting in place from the top. Bolt, bolt, bolt. Trim ring goes across here. The other trim ring goes all the way around. Same on both sides. I'm gonna go ahead and put these bolts in.